That was pretty awesome. Just such a great reflection of entrepreneurship, right? And what happens behind the scenes, but it is just that consistency and playing the long game. So glad you guys are on tonight. My name is Dee Corchin, and here our Monday night team time, which we like to do. It's really for you and for us just to be able to connect as a community and be able to learn together and be able to grow together. And if you're new to our team, welcome. We're glad you're with us. And I think I saw it in the chat, but happy birthday to Lynette. I think it's Lynette's birthday tonight, and I think it's a big milestone. So happy birthday, Lynette. We're glad you made this a priority on your birthday.
Thank you.
And you're welcome. And it's a milestone, right? Awesome.
Yeah, 60.
60 years young. We would never know it. Yeah.
Yes.
And you're just finishing up a degree too, right?
One more year.
One more year. So you're in school, you're a nurse practitioner, you came on as an entrepreneur with a health coach. So thanks for showing us how it's done. Awesome.
Thank you for showing me how it's done.
So before we go too far into tonight's training, and we're into a new month, it's the month of May. So I'm hopeful that if you are senior coach or above, that you have completed your MAP, your monthly action plan, and set up your time to speak with your coach. I know my calendar is filling up this week, and it's my favorite week of the month to be able to do that. And but we wanted to celebrate. I did put a post in the group, and hopefully you saw it. But let's get some shout outs and some cheers for you guys, because as a team, we reached $1 million in group volume as a team in the month of May. That was something I put on our vision board for 2021, hoping we would accomplish it this year. And you guys blew it out of the water. And you didn't just make it, you like sailed right past $1 million. So it just shows you the power of partnering together, and what is really possible. We also welcomed 524 new clients just into our organization. So thank you for being out there, sharing this gift with other people. We welcomed 24 new coaches, and we had a record of rank ups. 34 people on our team, 34 coaches reached a new rank, which means in our business that they're helping more people. But the incredible thing is 9 of them were new leadership ranks. So, I mean, big things are happening. And just a reminder that on Tuesday nights, the first Tuesday of every month, we do our leadership rank up call. So that will be a live Zoom that we will do this tomorrow night at 8 p.m. and we'll feed it right into Coaches Up for Change. So congratulations, big shout out to everybody. And also a reminder, if you love our community time, if you love our time together, screenshot it, put it out on social media. You can tag me, you can tag one of the speakers tonight, but it really puts out there to other people what we do that's so special and that we love learning together. So one thing we're gonna, I realized as we were preparing for our leadership conference was I realized that it had been a long time since we had done any kind of official training on the habits of transformational leadership. And I thought I'd give a little background on what that even is, and then have a couple of our coaches on our team share. There are 6 habits of transformational leadership. We're going to talk about 2 of them tonight. So I think most of you guys know the history of Optavia, but before we rebranded to Optavia in 2018, we operated under the arm of Medifast, and we were called Take Shape for Life. And under that arm for, I think, about 15 or 17 years. But over time, we just realized, Dr. A realized, and the leaders, that we were really more than Take Shape for Life. Take Shape for Life really had more of a focus on the body, whereas we know Optavia is more about the total experience, healthy body, healthy mind, healthy finances. And so they worked with a consultant called Helen Irwin. Her name is Helen Irwin. She's from the UK. And they went to her and they kind of brought to her, like, this is who we are. This is how we want to be perceived in the world, and that they did a major rebranding. And so she spent a lot of time with the company. She went on the program herself. She experienced everything. And with her crew, Helen helped develop and birth Optavia, which was in 2018. At the same time, we released updated Habits of Health Transformational System, which is the Habits of Health 2.0, the Life Book, all the great tools that we get. But she, it was very important to her. She said, I think as an organization and a company, you need set established leadership principles that when anybody encounters Optavia, you don't have to say what they are, but people just know that you're different. And just put it like a 1 in the chat if like your life is different because of the kinds of people that you've interacted with here in Optavia, and you've started to improve in all areas of your life way beyond what you expected, right? Yeah, look at it's blowing up. So she developed these leadership principles, but I want us to all understand them. I have a feeling you already know them. I think we operate under them already, and probably to some degree, you know what they are. But having that clarity so that you can actually put it into place yourself, because whether you are a coach helping one person, whether you are a brand new coach who's not helping anybody, or you are in one of the leadership roles with Optavia, you are a leader. You're leading yourself first, and then you're, leading others. So there are 6 different leadership principles. Like I said, we're just going to take our time going through these. And the first one is, it says, we lead from the future, we act in the now. And the narrative for it, it says, we know that people are most fulfilled when they're pursuing what matters most to them in life. So I wanted to turn this over to Lisa Bloom, and Lisa's going to do a little more training on this, also share about her own personal journey and how this has impacted her as a growing leader. So take it away, Lisa.
Thank you, Dee. Can you all hear me? Yeah. Thanks for giving me the opportunity tonight, Dee, to talk about this. This is actually my favorite transformational leadership habit. So it's lead from the future, act in the now. And this is number 1 in we also call them the hot 6. If you ever hear Dr. A refer to the hot 6, it's the 6 habits of transformational leadership. So this one really sets the stage for all the other habits. So if you think about our founder, think about Dr. Anderson. He had a vision, right? 20 plus years ago, his vision was to get people out of the critical care units of the hospital, get ahead of their health, and teach them to be the dominant force in their own life so that they can get to correct, their best weight, their best health, their best selves, and created that. And he had that vision all those years ago. And he and Lori, picked up and started this company. And each day he worked toward that vision. And he learned more and grew more. So that's the key about this transformational leadership habit. You set your direction. When you know where you're going, it's easy, theoretically, to act in the now, right? So if you think about a vision that you've had, or if any of you have been in a corporate job, like this one always to me is, if you're in a corporate job, and they used to tell us to dress for your next job, right? So the thought behind that was, if you wore the clothes for your next job, you would take the actions that led to getting that promotion or being in that next job. So acting in the now is really stringing together those individual choices that you make every day that lead you to that future. So creating that vision of your future that you're going to fall in love with, and then taking the actions that will lead you to that future. And like Dr. A likes to say, when we create those habits that lead us to that future, our habits become automated. So again, if you relate it to our program, right, we are helping our clients lead from the future. In the health assessment, we're asking them, what is it that you want? What is that vision of you in the future? I want to lose 30 pounds. Okay, think 3 months from now, we're in July, and imagine yourself in July. And then you back up and say, how are you going to act every day between now and that point, so that you can achieve that vision of yourself? When I did coaching with Helen Irwin, she said, create a vision of your future that you can fall in love with. And that was foreign to me. Okay, so we've already used 1. So put a 2 in the chat. If any of you have been tasked with dreaming about your future, creating a vision of your future, and you didn't know what in the heck it meant or how to even begin to create a vision of your future, right? I'm not a dreamer, never been a dreamer. I even asked Dee one time early on, I was like, do you see me as a dreamer? And she was like, well, I think you're ambitious. And I think that's right. I think we all have dreams and goals and visions, but I think when you get clarity on that vision, it's an entirely different thing. And I'll tell you from my own experience, when I started about 3 years ago as a coach, my June 29th, so convention was a few weeks later. So I go into convention, 6,000 other people in St. Louis. I'm in awe. You know, I've been to big conventions before, so I'm kind of excited about this. I kind of know the drill. I know kind of, you know, there's going to be speakers and there's going to be workshops and it's going to be fun. I'm going to meet people. And then in the opening session, all these people kept walking out on stage and they kept telling their story and inspiring people and moved me to tears in so many ways. And I looked at Dee and I said, I want to be on that stage someday. And I thought, and then I went, wait, what do you have to do to be on the stage? Because I had no idea. And I'm sure at the time she very kindly said, well, those are all integrated presidential directors. And I'm like, well, that's great. How do I get there? And I've honestly always had that vision. I thought, well, I like to talk to people. I think I'm a pretty eloquent speaker. Today I have notes. Usually you guys are listening to me ramble through my brain, but I'm thinking I would like to do that. I would like to be up there inspiring people. So that became part of my vision of my future. But there are other tools that you can use to create that vision of your future. Does anybody, so put a 3 in the chat. We're moving through the numbers. Let's see how high we get. Put a 3 in the chat if you've ever created a vision board. So cool. A lot of you have created a vision board. Anybody want to comment about what kind of an impact having that vision board has made in your life? Just kind of tell us. And while you're commenting, haven't yet, but I want to. Okay, seriously. Can I tell you, even up maybe 6-8 months ago, all my little pictures I had cut out to put on my vision board still weren't glued on it. Yes, Beth Bilton, they finally are. They're finally glued on it. But here's what I noticed in myself. So first of all, don't assume that you know how to create a vision board. There's lots of articles out there. In fact, I'll post, there's one that I send to my coaching clients all the time in my leadership coaching side. I'll post an article about how to create a vision board. It's something you can learn how to do. It's super easy. You can do it digitally. You can do it, you know, cutting out pictures. But what it is it really is helping you to get that visual of the future that you want, right? And when I knew I shifted was when I not only completed my vision board, but when I started to speak about what I wanted in my future. So when I started to not only look at my vision on my vision board, but speak it into existence, that's when things started to shift for me. So for instance, you know, one of the things I want to do is to provide my daughters with debt-free post-grad education. And I've got a lawyer and a budding doctor, you guys. So not a small feat. And to come out of post-grad debt-free, I think for I don't know anybody who's done it. Maybe you do, but that is a vision that I have for my future. I want to give more. I want to give a lot more. I have some big ideas about how I want to give. And that has compelled me to say, okay, now how am I going to do that? So when you have that vision and you put into action the steps to get there, that's what informs it. So here we are back with Optavia. We have this great tool. We have something that can inspire people, that can help them create a vision for their health, their financial future, and we can give them the tools to do that. And then we also can give them the tools and the behaviors that they need. You know how we say success leaves clues. So you listen to your mentors, you look at what everyone has done, and there's nothing unique, right? We're all just doing the same steps, but are you making the choices every day that move your business forward, that move your health forward, that move you into that future that you've created? And I love the terms, you know, be in pursuit. Like somebody, I think one of us recently, I had to follow all of you, I think one of us recently posted, why aren't we running like wildfire in the direction of our dreams, right? And I think because we don't always know what they are. So when you're leading from the future, you're clear about what you're dreaming, and you can work with your coach or your mentor. There are ways to, you know, personal development is a great thing. If you work with the Habit Finders group, or if you work with Helen Irwin, some of that work is done. So creating that compelling vision of your future and then acting like you're already there, or acting like you know what it would be like, or if you see yourself wearing those clothes or up on that stage or acting like an IPD or acting like an executive director. Like what would an executive director do every day, right? And so when you ask yourself those questions and that starts to inform the actions that you take. Just a couple of other kind of choices and habits that have impacted me that you can do your map. I mean, it's May 3rd. It's a great time to do your map. I will admit I didn't always turn in my map when I didn't like my results. I didn't turn in my map when my map scared me. I didn't understand it. I didn't like writing down all the names and the numbers. Sometimes I would just, and Dee knows this, but when I am in the habit of doing my map every month, it is a great tool for me to track not only where I've been, but where I want to go. And just don't get up in your head too much and make too much of it. It really is a tool for you to track what you want to do. Daily interaction and conversations, and just being bold, right? Invite people to the conversation. Just invite one person a day, and just make the invitation. Hey, what would you think about exploring what I do? What would you think about exploring this health program? You're just inviting them to a conversation. If you get too far ahead of yourself and you say, well, they won't want this, they won't want to be a coach, they'll think it's too much work, they'll think the program's too much work, all you're doing is inviting them to talk about it. If you boil it down to that and you take that step every day, you're leading yourself into that future that you want, not only for you, but for the people that you care about. I think that's all I've got. I think I went over time too. I'm sorry.
It was well worth it, right, everybody? Well worth it. Yeah, and it's been so fun, Lisa, like as your mentor, and I see it all the time with other coaches, when we do get that clarity of what we want, and I'll just speak right now in terms of like the business, right? Like, because, and we know that whatever it is we want in the business is what it's going to translate into our own life. So I love that connection to the dream board. Was it every time I watched Lisa or somebody else, when they get that crystal clarity, it's amazing the things that we do, right? It's like when Lisa was going to become FIBIC. Well, fully integrated business coach. Well, what does a FIBIC do? A FIBIC is confidently talking and offering coaching. What does an integrated national do? They're, out sharing the program, helping people, reach leadership levels. So it really is so pertinent what she said about that. So thank you. And thanks. I know that Jennifer and Beth, I know you dropped the link in there about the vision boards, and that's something that's really made a difference in our life as well. So very good. Thanks. We're going to jump to another one that Gina Manley is going to help share on tonight. And this one is the leadership principle: we awaken potential and we transform masterfully. And the narrative with this says, because we are enthusiastic about the potential we see in people, interested in the dreams they want to fulfill, purposeful in promoting optimal living, and magnetic because the results people achieve with us are simply extraordinary. So Gina Manley, can't wait to hear from you.
Thanks, Dee. So in the concept, when we think about when we awaken the potential and transform masterfully, our coaches painted the picture for us as clients. And again, in our decision to become coaches. And so I just want to share with you my own awakening. So when I first said yes to coaching, it was because so many people wondered what my husband and I were doing to lose weight that I wanted to share it with everyone. And I was also intrigued by the ability to earn an income on the side of my full-time career. For 25 years, I was the marketing director of a large physician practice. I worked my calls into the nooks and crannies of the day. And out of the gate, these Monday night calls were a rock in my calendar so I could learn how to coach effectively. I've never done anything like this before. If I can't attend live, I block out time on the calendar to go back and watch the recordings. And as much as I struggle with structure, I was so busy then with my day job and taking care of my elderly mom and everything else that I had to figure out times to start conversations with people, even if it meant I only had 15 minutes a day to do it. Few months in, the practice I worked for broke up after 52 years in business. And I knew it was coming, but I was out of a job and it was still a shock. And since I had started building the coaching business, Steve and I agreed that maybe I should just concentrate on coaching and see where it would lead, as opposed to going out and finding another job. All I needed to do was just match my income. it never occurred to either one of us that it might be possible to exceed my income. And as the Lone Ranger with my practice, everything I ever learned to do, I had to figure out on my own. There was never any kind of training ever. But Optavia offers so many opportunities to learn and grow that I didn't have to reinvent the wheel. So anytime training was announced, I attended. I just had to listen to the mentors and put it into action. So ED came pretty quickly for me, and attracting clients consistently was something I enjoyed. But the thought of coaching coaches scared me to death. If I could hear the hesitation in my voice when I offered it, so could anybody I talked to. And why would someone jump at the chance to help others when I didn't seem confident? I really became more of a transactional coach. I resisted the idea of being anything else. There was no way I could lead others. Helping them coach their own coaches, not a chance. And I was frustrated with myself for thinking this way. I would hear top leaders talk and how they present the opportunity and think it sounded so easy, but it wasn't easy to me. I had managed a team early on in my career. I checked that box, and no way did I want to do that now. And like Lisa said, she didn't know how to dream, neither did I. If I couldn't do it for myself, how could I help someone else to do it? And I prejudged. You know, they're too busy, they don't have time, they wouldn't be interested. Same thing with goal setting. It scared me. In my head, if I failed to reach the goal in a time I set, then I was a failure. So I had made up my mind that I was just going to coach clients. I can do that, pretty good at that. I don't need anything else. But the one thing I kept hearing over and over on these calls and the rest of the Monday night calls was that I wasn't holding myself back by playing it safe, thinking that this was the only thing that I had time for and that I was good at. I was holding back others from achieving their dreams. It's the ripple effect, right? What if there's someone in my world who's ready for the trilogy of Optavia, who needs it, but I'm stopping them because of my own walls? I kept hearing them talk about the value of personal development. And if we want to grow as a person, we want our businesses to grow, that we can't keep doing the same things over and over that aren't serving us. I had to be awakened and break down my own fears in order to be able to awaken others. So when the first opportunity for group coaching was offered with Paul and Dave Blanchard of the Habit Finder Group, I decided to make the investment. And I got to tell you, for 6 months, I was a deer in the headlights. It was uncomfortable. I didn't get it. I was nervous about every session. Fast forward a year, and I was still stuck. So I engaged in my second Habit Finder session, this time with Amy Kemp. And the light bulb started to come on. I mean, I was in a different place, so I was open more to changing. I'm now entering week 3 of the Transformational Leadership Development Program that Dee mentioned through Helen Irwin. And I had the opportunity to attend our team leadership event a couple weeks ago. There's so many ways for us to listen and learn and to take all those concepts that we hear, but put them in action. So what does awakening others mean? It's the same things we ask our clients. What do they want? Why do they want it? We summarize what we hear so that they hear themselves. How badly do they want it? When do they want it by? Who will be affected by their decision? These are all the questions that we ask our clients, and it's the same thing we're going to ask our potential coaches and the coaches that we're mentoring. You know, when your mentors suggest to never pass up an opportunity for training, they're correct. When they suggest a personal development book or to explore a group engagement, which is a financial investment, they're suggesting it because it helped them grow. you're worth the investment, and so are the people you want to reach. I'm a work in progress, but for the first time in a long time, I love the potential I see in me and in my abilities to help others. Thanks, Dee.
Okay, wow. Thank you for that, Gina. Thank you. And I think that was so beautifully stated right there at the end, that she loves the ability of what she's seen in herself. And it's through that transformation in us that we can then go out to the world. And I saw something just recently so perfectly stated that, we've talked about it, you guys, that growth in this business, Dan Bell speaks to it all the time, that it is, 95% is our mindset and our motivation, right? And so moving to that next level, we try to convince ourselves, oh, I'm not good at that or whatever, but it is in our thinking that's holding us back. It is not in our lack of skill or ability. And so I love what Gina said. I mean, I think exactly what you said, Gina, attend every training, because for me, as I was, growing up in Optavia, sometimes just somebody could have said the same thing my leader said, but they just said it with a little twist on it that I heard it different, or I heard it in a way that I said, I could see myself saying that. So that's where all the nuggets come from, the gems come from. That's why I love having different people share on these calls, because you hear that perspective. And also I just really love the culture of our team and the vulnerability that we're willing to share, so that we can realize, like, we're not alone, like we're all trying to figure this out together. So thank you guys for that. And like I said, we'll be continuing over the next several weeks to go through the other leadership principles, but thank you, Lisa and Gina, because you guys knocked it out of the park. Speaking of additional trainings that are coming up, just a reminder that May 15th, we have the all-in virtual coaching event. So the website for that, if you're not registered yet, is the allincoachingsummit.com. And this is on Saturday the 15th. This is top leaders from across the organization. You can go to the website, look at the leaders, but we have all the big names. I've been having the blessing of being on that committee. And we have just an incredible lineup, no matter where you are in the business. If it's your first day, your first week, or you've been coaching for 8 to 10 years, you will gain something from that. And then we also have convention. Convention is in July 29th to August 1st. There is a waiting list to attend in person, but we've had people get on that waiting list on our team and already be moved up and able to go. So go ahead and register for that. And there's a virtual event. If it just doesn't work for you to be there in person, there's the virtual event. And then just lastly, want to remind you guys that we have our summer slim down challenge. It's starting a week from tomorrow. So you're going to start to, a week from today, May 10th. So you'll start to see more on that, on how to help your potentials get ready for that, or the people that have committed. But just want to thank you guys for being on. Remind you that we have the option to go to Dr. A's call right after this, which I highly encourage. The fact that we have the leader and the founder of our company that does a call for us every Monday night is incredible. He shows up for us like that. 8:30, there is additional field training. The topic tonight, I think, was coaching or building your business through adversity. So I think that could be applicable for all of us at some point in our life. And then Dan Bell offers a call after that. So thank you guys for joining us tonight. And again, thank you to Lisa and to Gina. And then I'll put the replay in our coaches group. Thanks, you guys. So good to see you. Bye.
Bye, Dee.